Once upon a time, in the endless deep blue ocean of the night sky, there lived a universe of stars. There were great fiery suns that roared with light, and brilliant diamond-like stars that danced in dazzling constellations, painting stories for the world below. They blazed and shimmered, each one a beacon of cosmic confidence. But far off, in a quiet corner of this celestial ballroom, there was one very small star. Its name was Twinkle. While the other stars burst with light, Twinkle offered only a soft, shy pulse. It felt like a tiny candle in a world of bonfires. It would watch the others, how they effortlessly cast their powerful beams across galaxies, and a deep sigh would ripple through its tiny core. "I'm not bright enough," it would whisper into the vast, silent darkness. "My light is too small, too quiet. No one can even see me from down there." Twinkle would try with all its might to puff up its light, to shine with the same intensity as its neighbors. It would concentrate, focusing all its energy, but its glow would only grow for a moment before settling back into its usual gentle flicker, leaving Twinkle feeling tired and even more insignificant than before. It believed its only purpose was to be bright, and in that, it felt like a failure. For many nights, Twinkle kept its sadness to itself, but its sorrow was a quiet song that drifted through the cosmos, and eventually it reached the one who listens to all the quiet things, the wise old moon. The moon, with a face etched by ages of watching the world turn, drifted closer, its silvery glow blanketing Twinkle in a comforting embrace. "Little one," the moon said, its voice like the gentle pull of the tides, "I feel your sadness. You believe your light is not enough." Twinkle just flickered faintly in response. "Let me tell you something," the moon continued softly. "Light comes in many forms, and each has its own magnificent purpose. There is the fierce, brilliant light of the sun, which commands the day and gives life to everything it touches. It is powerful and grand, and the world depends on it. But not all light needs to be a sun." The moon paused, letting its words sink in. "There is the dancing, magical light of the auroras, a secret whisper between the sky and the earth, a light meant only for wonder. And down on earth, there is the guiding light of a lighthouse, a steady beam that cuts through storms to bring sailors safely home. Its purpose is not to light the whole world, but just one path. There is even the tiny blinking light of a firefly, a light so small it can be held in a child's hand. It is not meant to light up the forest, but to call out to another, a tiny spark of connection in the dark. Every light, no matter its size or brightness, has a purpose perfectly suited to its nature. But Twinkle, though it listened to the moon's kind words, only sighed a little puff of stardust. "But my light doesn't give life, or guide ships, or dance in the sky," it whispered. "It just is, small and pointless." The moon simply smiled its ancient, knowing smile. "Patience, little star, your purpose will find you when it is needed most." And as it happened that very night, the need for a special kind of light was growing down on earth. In a cozy little house, in a warm little bed, a small child named Lily was trying to fall asleep. Her room was filled with her favorite things: a shelf of colorful books, drawings taped to the wall, and her most trusted friend, a fluffy teddy bear named Barnaby, who was tucked tightly in her arms. But tonight, the room didn't feel safe. The wind was sighing outside, making the great oak tree in her garden scrape its branches against the window. With every tap, a long, spindly shadow danced on her wall, looking like a monster's bony fingers. The friendly armchair in the corner now looked like a giant, hunched creature waiting in the darkness. Lily squeezed her eyes shut, but all she could see were the scary shapes. She pulled her blankets up to her chin, her heart beating like a tiny drum. She wasn't wishing for the bright sun to come back. That was too bright for sleeping. And she didn't want the big overhead light on, because that chased all the sleepiness away. What she wanted was something else entirely, something soft, something kind. Lily sat up and crept to her window, pressing her nose against the cool glass. She looked past the scary tree branches, up, up into the deep, dark sky full of stars. She didn't pick the biggest or the brightest one. She just sent her hope out into the vastness. And in a voice no louder than a breath, she whispered her wish. "I wish for a gentle light," she whispered to the night. "Just a little friendly light to watch over me. A light to keep the shadows away and keep me safe until the morning comes." Her wish was a tiny, fragile thing, a silken thread of hope that floated up from her window, past the rooftops, through the cool night air, rising higher and higher, searching not for the most powerful light, but for the most listening heart. The little wish drifted through the cosmos, past the great roaring stars who were too busy with their own brilliant shining to notice. It floated right by the dazzling constellations, who were busy performing their celestial ballets. And then, the tiny thread of hope found its way to the quiet corner of the sky where Twinkle flickered. The wish didn't just pass by. It curled around the little star, sharing its story of scary shadows and a child's beating heart. Twinkle felt the wish, and for the first time it understood. The wish wasn't asking for a beacon. It wasn't asking for a diamond. It was asking for a light, a light, a light just like Twinkle's. A jolt of purpose shot through the little star. This was it. This was a job that no other star could do better. The great blazing stars were too bright. They would flood the room with harsh light. But Twinkle's light? It was just right. Gathering not strength but courage, Twinkle stopped trying to be something it wasn't. Instead, it embraced what it was. It pulled all the warmth and kindness from its core and poured it into its glow. It didn't burst or blaze. It simply bloomed. Its hesitant flicker steadied into a constant, soft, golden radiance full of warmth and love. Then, Twinkle sent that light on a journey. A soft golden ribbon unfurled from the sky, weaving its way down, down, down toward the sleeping earth. It found the right town, the right street, and the right little house. The gentle beam of starlight poured through Lily's window like liquid honey. It didn't chase the darkness away with a shout. It asked it to leave with a whisper. The light touched the hunched monster in the corner, and it immediately softened back into a familiar, comfy armchair. It kissed the wall where the bony fingers had been, and the shadow of the tree branch vanished completely. The entire room was bathed in a gentle, peaceful glow, painting everything in soft shades of gold and cream. It was a light that didn't say, "Look at me," but "Everything is okay." Back in her bed, Lily felt the change instantly. She opened her eyes and saw her room, no longer a place of fear, but a safe, cozy haven. The warmth of the light felt like a gentle hand on her cheek. A long, happy sigh escaped her lips, and the tight little knot of fear in her tummy completely unraveled. She smiled, a true, peaceful smile. She snuggled deep under her blankets, pulling Barnaby the bear in close. "Thank you, little star," she whispered, her eyes already heavy with sleep. And in that safe, gentle glow, she drifted into the most peaceful, dream-filled sleep she had ever known. High above, the moon smiled its widest, most ancient smile. It turned to Twinkle, who was now glowing with a quiet, steady confidence it had never felt before. "Do you see now, little one?" the moon said, its voice full of pride. "Your light was not meant to compete with the great suns. It was not meant for grand displays. It was meant for this. For one small child who needed not a beacon, but a friend in the dark. To bring peace to a single frightened heart is a purpose as grand and as important as lighting up the entire sky." From that night on, Twinkle never again doubted its glow. It understood that brightness was not about how much light you made, but about how much comfort you could bring. Its light was not small, it was specific. It was not dim, it was gentle, and it was perfect. And so, every evening, as the sun would dip below the horizon and the sky would put on its velvet cloak, Twinkle would take its place with a newfound sense of joy. It became known among the other stars as the gentle star, the one who listened for the quietest wishes. It shone with a quiet pride, its warm golden light a promise of safety and peace. And if you ever look up into the night sky and see a star that doesn't seem to be shouting, but rather humming a soft, gentle lullaby, that is Twinkle. It is still there, shining its special light for any child who might need it, whispering to every dreamer below, "Good night, little one, sleep well. The shadows are only shadows, and you are safe. I am here, your gentle light, and I will watch over you until the morning comes."